What's up, everybody? Chef Lexus here. And for all you people always on the go, I got some 30-minute meals for you today. I got succotash, salmon cakes, and I think you need a little bit of liquor. So we're going to have spiked lemonade today. So join me today while I make my quick recipes just for you. Today, I have a special guest, Emmy award-winning Kelsey Minor. Come on, bro. Yay, right. Let's clap. Clap. Okay, Kelsey. So I thought about you because every time I feel like we hang out, we always in this situation where we're here again and it's 2 a.m. And you always have to be to work at 4 a.m.
It's a true story.
And I'm like, you know what, when does Kelsey have time to eat? So, or sleep, or run, and do all these other great things that you do every day, and work and function. So I said, you know what? Kelsey needs, and you always don't take the time, Kelsey needs some 30-minute meals, or less. That can just make it feel good, make it look good, and make it look like you did a lot. Okay? So, I know everybody has an aversion to okra, but okra is one of my favorite vegetables. I would say that I hated it when I was a kid, but I've grown to love it as an adult.
Okay, so okra reminds me of my grandmother, who also loved it, but I hate it. But I will eat it today. We will try it today.
We're going to eat it today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make succotash.
Okay.
So we're going to make a quick succotash, no lima beans, because I don't want to do all that work. I'm trying to make this a quick meal, easy going. And we're also going to roast the corn on the stove so that it tastes like you had it on an open fire.
Oh, good.
So it's going to be really good. So first what I want to do is I take my okra and I cut it lengthwise. So the reason why I cut it lengthwise is I just like the way it looks.
Okay.
It looks pretty. The pod is there with all the seeds inside. It's a nice look. And then it gets the grill marks on it because we're going to grill it. All right? So I'm going to cut a little bit. And then what I want you to do is I want you to pass me the tomatoes I have back there on the back
Got you.
in there. Oops.
Tomatoes.
So tomatoes are fine. If you like them, you can use cherry tomatoes, or you can use, they have another size up that's a little bigger, that's less acidic. Because I know some people don't like tomatoes because they're a little acidic. But you know what? I find that these ones are a little sweeter.
For the people who do not cook, do you know why they call these cherry tomatoes?
That's a good question, but I'm going to say because they're small. But I might need to know this. Okay.
No, because actually it kind of resembles a cherry.
Yeah.
Like a cherry.
A little pocket.
We'll just go with that.
We'll go with that.
I don't know either.
We'll go with that.
We'll
A little pocket.
Yeah.
Over there. Good to go. So, Kelsey, what do you like to make when you're making quick meals?
So I have recently come in contact with this thing called a shrimp burger.
What's this?
I got it from Trader Joe's.
Ooh.
It's already patted.
Mm-hmm.
You throw it on the cast iron skillet because everything is great in a cast iron.
Right.
And you put it on some multigrain flatbread.
Oh, I'm liking this. So that means you got your multigrain for the day.
Yep.
You got your shrimp, so you're good to go. You feel like you ate your meat, you're good to go. And you feel full.
I'll do that, and I'll grab like some peas or beans or something. And that'll be quick. Yeah.
That sounds good. I like this. If you could, I think I have an extra bowl. You know what? I got it.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is put these okra in this bowl, and then I want you to dress them in some beautiful olive oil.
Okay. So the difference between olive oils, there's extra virgin, there's some other stuff. Does it really matter with this?
So with the extra virgin, that's actually the first press. So the first press of the olive is supposed to be the most, I guess, the best tasting. Then they have these olive oils that are mixed. So like Spanish olive oil, where it has different blends together, or you'll see Mediterranean, where there are different olives sourced from different places. Extra virgin is usually sourced from one type of olive from one place.
Gotcha.
Yes.
How much olive oil do we want on this?
I just like to coat it. So I put as much tomatoes as I like as color. And then sometimes people don't like tomatoes. They might like it a little bit more. So that's why I'm just like, however I feel. So it's your meal.
Okay.
And then I already snipped these green beans here.
Okay.
You can actually just toss the green beans in there just like that.
Toss.
Yes. And I'm going to grab this pepper and salt.
Gotcha.
Very simple.
Do we need more olive oil?
A little bit more olive oil.
Gotcha.
Want to make sure it's nice, dressed, juicy, get everything there. Want a nice char on all.
Gotcha.
So we got our tongs here. So we just toss it up. And then as you're tossing, well, sprinkle a little bit of seasoning and then some fresh cracked pepper. So I prefer the taste of the vegetables. If you want a little more, you can actually add my Boricua seasoning. So if you want a little more a little garlic and everything, you can throw that in there as well.
Okay.
You can purchase that off my website, allaboutLexus.com.
Gotcha.
So, but for
And
me,
you make these seasonings yourself?
I make these seasonings myself. Yes. So you can order these seasonings. You buy Boricua Geechee with salt or without salt, and then you buy seasoned salt, the Geechee salt.
Okay.
Yes. So we're gonna set that aside. Let that get its all good juices going. And then we're gonna make this salmon cake. So, right? So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna move these out the way.
Okay.
So for my salmon cakes, what I do is I actually take the skin off and then I'm gonna put them in a bowl. I use frozen salmon because I've learned that salmon comes frozen. So you might as well take the already frozen salmon instead of getting the fresh salmon. You're not gonna use it right there and then and refreezing it because you're just keep freezing it over and over again, adding these nice little these crystals to it that are not so tasty. So it kind of takes away from the taste of the salmon. I like to take the skin off. You can save it later for some fries.
I'm a skin off kind of guy.
Yeah, so skin off.
Good.
So you can use your knife and go underneath as close as you can. Take the skin off. Take your time. It's okay if you leave a little on.
Okay.
I skipped that class. So there was a class in culinary art in culinary school where you actually learn how to fillet a fish, and I missed that class. So what I'm gonna do is after I do that, just gonna cut this up a little bit, and then cut it in.
Now you're gonna want me to replicate what you're
I want you to
doing
try. Yeah,
here?
just one time. Just
Gotcha.
one time. Just one good time. And then, I'll take over again. But I like everybody to try these. We can see this. So let's put this here. And I want you to try. And we're going to just rinse my hands really quickly.
Okay.
All right. So right underneath the skin. And, knife away from you because we just don't want to cut ourselves. So, Kelsey.
Yes.
Emmy Award-winning Kelsey.
Yes.
How did you get into journalism?
Funny story. I was initially going to school for musical theater and music in Tennessee. And I decided at the last minute to not do that and instead go to journalism school.
Oh.
And I going to Chicago for school.
Oh, your fingers. So you cut them off.
And two weeks before school started, 9/11 happened. And like New York, everything in Chicago kind of shut down too.
Oh.
Yeah. And I ended up going to a cell phone store to pay a phone bill. And then this lady was like, "Oh, your name is Kelsey Minor?" I was getting ready to leave Chicago and go back to music school. And she said, "Oh, your name is Kelsey Minor? You watch movies too?"
Yes.
And I said, "Yes, it is." She said, "Oh, it sounds like you should be on TV."
Really?
And at that moment, I decided to stay in journalism school.
So she was like, "Look, you are it.
You are it.
You are it.
Basically.
I'm telling you, you're the it factor, and you need to be in this." So for you guys at home, I know we'll always have a critic. You can use a knife that bends. There's a fillet knife that actually bends to the cutting board. Because I don't do that much fish, I'm showing people how they can do what they have in their house. It's okay if you don't get it off. Like I said, I didn't get it off. But what I'll do is I'll come back here and then I'll come here. My knife is very sharp.
I'm helping you out on this side.
Yes.
And peeling it off.
Yes, peel it off.
Over here.
We're going to switch that a little bit. It's okay.
So is this a
I like to make, so salmon cake is very much a part of Geechee culture. We usually use canned salmon. So one day I was in culinary class and I had salmon as one of my, so we have these chopped situations where they give us ingredients and we have to make whatever they give us. So my ingredient was salmon, and I knew I had already messed it up at school because I was pregnant, so I couldn't really be involved. So I gotta knock this out the park. So I take the salmon, take the skin off, which they don't, it's like sacrilegious. They thought that I was gonna just like pan fry it real quick, and then I make a salmon burger. And they were like, well, this looks kind of good. They didn't know where I was going with it. So they were like, so ever since then, when I realized I could use fresh salmon instead of just canned salmon, I'm like, oh, I could just make this less processed. May not be the same flavor, but I get the same effect. So I still get my salmon cakes on. Yes. So now I'm gonna show you how to cut a pepper. So this is what I usually do. I know everybody got their way online. I cut the top off.
Okay, so that seems familiar with what I do too.
Yeah, and then I just take this out.
That seems very familiar to me as well.
Clean. And then if you really feel like it's something in there, knock it down. Yeah. It usually comes out for the most part. And then you have the membrane here. So the membrane you can really rip out. You can cut it too. So usually people will come here, try to like get it flat, and then take this membrane out. They just don't want that extra piece, the right piece. Remember to cut away from you, not towards you, because you just don't want to cut yourself.
Gotcha.
If you want to, you can eat it as a snack. I like to eat it as a snack, or you can save it for stock. So I collect all my things, extra pieces, all the ends of the green beans, and then I put it together, cover it in some cold water, even the outside of the onion, and I make stock later. So I never have to buy stock. Vegetable stock always on. So
she's making stock. She's making her own spices at home.
That's right.
Get into it.
Get into it. Yeah. So here we are. Get that away. And you can compost. I like to save the world a little bit, right? So I like to go in here, let's open it up a little bit. And then with my finger clawed and holding the knife correctly, because we want to make sure we have a handle on the knife, I'm in here. So I got about, I want to say about a ½ inch. I think I need to cut it a little smaller. We're making these burgers, so let me make it a little smaller, right? So about a ¼ inch. We're gonna get a julienne on it first, and then we're gonna do a small dice. And then you're gonna try.
Oh boy.
You're gonna try, and then I line it up. Use the knife, line it up, claw, bare claw, and I rock. So that's why I like these knives, because you can rock and your knife should stay at the tip. And then you just move it.
So is the claw the thing do they teach you that in culinary school?
They teach you that in culinary school so that when you cut yourself, because you will cut yourself, you cut here and not here. I'd rather cut my nipples.
Let's just not cut that.
Let's not cut nothing. But if I'm going to cut something, the fingertip, I don't want that. That bleeds more.
Gotcha.
That's why. So that's literally why I think they do it. So I just have these small dice on here. And we're going to do these little pieces I have here. And we're going to add it to here.
To the salmon.
To the salmon.
Gotcha.
So you can give me like just a couple. Just try it out. Try it out. So do you cut anything at home, or do you buy it already cut?
So you've eaten at my house before.
Of course, it's so beautiful.
But you have never been there while it's been being prepared. So yeah, I think the last thing you had, we had tacos
and
nachos and a lot of tequila
and a lot of Krispy Kreme.
And against my will, because
for 13 seconds in the microwave.
13 seconds in the microwave.
Yes.
If you want a good Krispy Kreme,
that's right.
Put it in the microwave for 13 seconds.
Yes.
Change your life.
It's like it came up with a conveyor belt. Telling you. Good time. So we get Krispy Kreme delivered every time we're at Kelsey's house.
So how am I doing with the peppers so far?
Good. I like it. It looks great. I line it up. I don't want these little fellas curling though. Okay. I want to make sure they all feel loved. Okay. And feel like they're, treated equally. Okay. So there we go.
So you ever see the...
Yep. We don't want to cut any fingertips off. And then what I want you to do is I want you to handle your knife. Handle it. Like, put this in between your pointer finger and your thumb, so you have better control over your knife.
Am I doing that right?
I'm gonna show you right now my knife. So I'm here.
Yeah.
And right here, you guys can see. So I have control. I put my thumb here, and I put my pointer finger, and I curl it here, and I'm rocking. Now this knife is a sanctity knife. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's okay. It's my black twang. You can rock it back and forth. This one is actually a little rounded, but I prefer these chef knives because, especially for a beginner, it's easier for you to do the rocking motion when you're learning how to cut. And I feel like these are always like super neat. I really like these because they're popular and everybody thinks that they're getting like this Japanese knife or anything like that, but I prefer the chef knife.
Okay.
A little bit of weight.
So I think I did.
You did a good job.
Pretty good job.
And then
I'm just gonna stick to my day job.
that's okay. That's good enough. So let's put these to the side. We'll take these for snack for later. So one more thing I'm gonna get into you before we put these burgers on the grill. We're going to cut the onion. So remember we said all this beautifulness we're gonna save. So we're gonna cut the top off, right?
Okay.
We want this to stop. And then what I do is I turn it here because we always want a flat surface. Turn it right here and cut it down the middle. Right? So now, starting to smell the onion. Yep. Starting to get there. No tears yet. I like to score it. So what I score is I like pierce it a little bit because sometimes the skin is a little tough to get off. So I find when I score it, it just peels off way better. And sometimes that layer right underneath it also has a different color, so I just pull it right off.
So I'm not a huge fan of onion, but what is it about onion that makes a dish so...
Onion is like a beautiful thing that you can eat raw, you can eat cooked, grilled. It just adds some extra flavor. Okay. Onion in the culinary world is actually the mirepoix. So mirepoix is the holy trinity. What they do is 50% onions, 25% carrots, 25% celery. So it's the base of most sauces, most foods, and then especially with Spanish people, onions, cebolla is like everything. So we eat a lot of onions. We put onions in sofrito. We put onions in the guisado. Everything we have has onions in it. And they say also that onions are actually anti-cancerous. It's one of the things. So yeah, I like raw onions on my sandwiches. Okay. White onions, not the yellow onions. White onions are for sandwiches. These yellow onions are for frying or sauteing.
Gotcha.
And red onions are not for cooking. They're for salads. Even though it seems some people eat red onions.
So I don't eat onions at all if I have to see them.
So I'm going to show you 2 ways how to prep the onions then. So maybe we're going to show you ways that can make it a little bit more approachable. So I usually start with my onion. How I would traditionally cut my onion, I'm going to show you this way. And then how, please, I see people so many times cutting the onion in their hand. You're going to cut yourself. Don't do that. I like cut the onion on the countertop. It's safer. I know I see my mom do it all the time, which is hilarious. But they get a good cut, I must say. So we're here. I like my cutting board to be elevated because I need to be here, so I need space. So here I am. In, and then in again, right? Okay. And then from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna slice it lengthwise. Gotcha. So I'm here already, and then I'm gonna do it like this. And I want them pretty thin because you told me you don't like the onions, so I want them the smallest dice I can ever get. Don't worry, a little bit comes out too. So here we are. So I'm gonna.
The water works.
The water works. So I'm clawing and I'm slicing as thin as possible. It's like I don't even smell it. Like when I have my contacts in, I can't even. It doesn't even.
So you're wearing your contacts right now.
Right now.
Okay, so I'm supposed to wear glasses. Never wear them. Don't ask me why.
It's okay.
And I don't have contacts either.
Yeah, like I smell it, but I don't feel it. So I'm gonna mince these a little bit because you told me you don't like onions. But I'm gonna show you another way to do it. You can put it in a food processor, but some people don't have food processors. You know, I like gadgets.
So I know we're not gonna do it here, but when you caramelize an onion, that like shrinks it down to size.
And it adds some sugars to it, so it gets a little sweetness on it. Yes, so caramelization is sugar. That's what caramel, so all the same thing, is the sugars coming out and browning it. So that's why you have that brown look. So all the sugars, sweetness, beautiful bit. Caramelized onions on a burger, it's good stuff. I like onions like that. I love pungent onions. Yeah. Not good for, talking to people, but good for,
Absolutely.
good for eating.
You need
So
to carry some mints or something in your bag.
Lysol strips. I mean, Lysol. Here I go. I'm like Trump. Listerine strips. Listerine. So I'm just here, and I'm minting.
Okay.
Trying to keep my board clean. Then here we are. So I'm gonna take these. So we're gonna get that. We don't need too much onions because I'm sticking with onions. But the flavor on the onions are amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, it adds a certain flavor to a dish.
Yes.
For me, it's the sight of them that,
Here you go.
What are we gonna do with the cheese grater?
We're gonna cut our onions.
With the grater?
With the grater.
Interesting.
Because why do we need to work so hard, right?
That part.
That part. We like to get 30-minute meals in a flash. So why are we cutting onions when we could just be grating onions?
So
there you go.
To grate them is people like me who don't have the time.
Right.
But to cut them up as fine as you did with a trusty knife.
Yes.
People like you.
Yes.
Who actually
who have
do
time.
This. Yes.
So I do this, and it's pretty fast for me. But for you, yes. If a person who's not trained, they'll be there for a little while. Yeah. I do it, and I'm good to go. So there you see, nice and soft. So we can add this actually to our succotash. We won't add too much. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add some seasoning to we're gonna add our Boricua seasoning to the salmon. We're gonna add some mustard, salt, and pepper.
Powdered mustard.
This is powdered mustard. I like ground mustard because ground mustard gives it another level of flavor. You can use spicy mustard if you have it in the cabinet, but remember to take what you add and you have to take out. So mustard from the jar or from the bottle adds moisture. So that means you have to take out moisture on the other side.
Gotcha. So
that would mean less mayonnaise, which we're gonna use in this recipe as well.
Okay.
Yep. So let me get everything for you, and then we're gonna get into it. So I'm gonna take this bowl from you so you can start seasoning the salmon cakes.
Okay, and so I'm gonna put everything here.
Everything here. So we're gonna start with some Geechee seasoning.
Gotcha. How much are we doing?
Oh, sorry, we got Boricua seasoning here. Right. So then about a little over a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, depending on how you feeling.
Until the ancestors say stop.
Yes, say. Gotcha. Come on, let's go.
And then
a little bit, about a teaspoon of mustard, so not that much. We could be a little more generous.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very conservative.
I know. The mustard. Well, this doesn't give you that mustard taste. So like when you squeeze the mustard, that gives you that taste. But this is more subtle. It adds a new level of flavor. That's why I like ground mustard more than I like the squeeze bottle for this type of thing.
Gotcha.
Good to go. A little bit of salt, just a little extra. Sometimes we need a little zhuzh. Fresh cracked pepper. And I'm gonna grab the breadcrumbs and the mayonnaise for you.
Okay.
Love fresh cracked pepper because it just
so do I.
More flavor. Smell it. And now what I want you to do is add a little bit of mayonnaise. You don't have to add the whole thing. Let's get you a spoon.
Okay.
Yep.
About this much?
A little more.
A little more?
Yeah. So the mayonnaise it helps with browning and it helps with holding it together. It helps with the binding. Because eggs bind, mayonnaise has eggs.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle some of these breadcrumbs on top. So now once we sprinkle these breadcrumbs, I want you to stir it together. Yeah, for now, and then you can add more.
Okay.
Because what you want to do is be able to form a ball. So that you're gonna get your hands dirty, get in there, and let's get into it. Let's make it work.
Oh, mayo all on my hands.
All on your hands.
Okay. I'm starting to like the color of it. I can tell.
It looks nice. I'm just setting up another pan for you.
Okay.
Setting up another pan for you. So here we are. So how I get it together is I come here and I take a piece And if it comes together, I'm like, okay, but I think it needs a little bit more
breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
So that's why I like it, because it's easy. You can use the can if you don't have access to the salmon, but if you do, use a fresh salmon.
Mm-hmm.
Less processed food, live longer.
So what does the mayo do? And if you're not a mayo fan, could you use something, say, like
I guess you can use avocado. They have avocado mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an alternative. But the browning agent comes from the fat in the yolk.
Oh,
Yes.
So
and
you
the oil.
couldn't replace it with like some oil and an egg?
You can put an egg in it if you want to just put straight up egg in there and no mayonnaise.
Yeah.
I find that mayonnaise adds like another level of flavor.
Okay.
For crab cakes, salmon cakes, fish cakes in general. Okay.
So you want to show me again with the little ball that you were...
Let's try this ball. So, let's get here. You don't have to have it as rough chopped as me. I just prefer rough chopped.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know it's good because it's like staying together.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a rough chop doesn't create the ball, but I kind of like to see my colors in the salmon.
Gotcha.
So you can make them small or you can make them huge. I like to make little cakes because then when you're on the go, you can just grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoop these out. I'm gonna throw them on the stove as we're scooping them out.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right. First, we're gonna put these on here and we're gonna get this going. So it's gonna start popping like popcorn, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna taste so great, roasted corn. So I want you to put some olive oil in both my pans. Yeah, perfect. And then a little bit here too. Perfect, like it. So now, can you please pass me the succotash? So for my succotash, I'm gonna go straight on in there. I never thought, put my hand there, warm. I can hear that noise. That's what I want to do. And I like to put the okra down. You can do it in batches. You don't have to put it all down at the same time. Can't fit it. I have a nice size grill. Put it on here. You can hear the corn going. And you know what, Kelsey? I'm going to start making the burgers, the patties. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put them on. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
So I should pass you this, huh?
Pass me this. So first, let's straight it over. So we got roasted, see? Beautiful roasted corn. Straight on the flame. All right. And I'm here. And we're going to turn this down a little bit. It's okay, a little popping. Ain't gonna worry about this. So we're here. And then what I like to do is I tell people, don't throw it in there. Don't hurt yourself. Get as close as you can. Okay? And here we go. Mash it down. That's what I want. There you go. Just get as close as you can. Yep. Less likely to burn yourself if you do it close enough. This is also a great way to meal prep.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a bunch of these, you can put them in a container, or you can put them in a Ziploc bag, freeze them, ready to go. Yeah, it might need to be.
So how long do you need to be?
Until they're brown on each side. It's pretty good. Oops, that one's falling apart a little bit. The popping smelling good. Turn it down a little bit. So we're here, taking this off, look at that. Yes. Okay. So now we're just gonna wait until everything cooks, and then we're gonna bring our table and make our drink.
Gotcha.
Now, I thought about you. I'm like, you need a to-go drink too. So we're gonna use your favorite vodka.
Okay.
So and my favorite lemonade.
Okay.
Spiked lemonade.
Gotcha.
But I like to add a little bit more to it because I need some color. You know, it's nice outside. Let's get some color in it. Let's make it a raspberry lemonade. Sounds good? All right. So I want you to pass me these raspberries, this lemonade, and the vodka.
Raspberry.
Yes. And then
Lemonade. Vodka.
let me put into this and get us a spoon.
Okay.
So you can use the back of a spoon, or you can just use if it's a spatula, you have the bigger piece. You can just push this in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna muddle.
Okay.
Muddling is basically crushing a fruit or something in the bottom. You can muddle mint, you can muddle raspberries, and then that way you get the flavor of it at the bottom and also the pretty color.
Gotcha.
So let's muddle a little bit. I'm gonna smash it.
Okay.
For the purposes of this, because I do have a small spoon. I think I want a couple more.
A couple more is nice.
Couple more is nice. Fancy, right? On the go, but fast.
Yeah.
So maybe you can muddle these ones, right? You think you're gonna muddle?
Or smash.
Or smash. So today we froze the lemonade, but we like to use some ice because we like second drink. So if everybody doesn't know a second drink is when everything goes away, but you still have some liquor and the ice is there. So you don't have to add any extra juice. You got ice, less calories, still more drink. Second drink.
Less is more.
Less is more. So now what I want to do is I'm going to add a couple of ice cubes.
Okay.
We're just going to do one of these, right?
Exactly.
Right. I think that's good enough, right? For second drink?
I think
Let's do one. A good pour. So we want to say like
nice
juggler
pour.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need some more on that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's right. And then we're going to fill ourselves some lemonade.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, friend. This looks good. And then I think, we need a little raspberry.
Okay.
So, here we go. Cheers to 30-minute meals. Making this to go. That's really nice. I thought of you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll be taking this to go. Bye.
So let's play.
That's
Okay, because we need to eat.
Yes.
Right? So we're gonna grab these.
And I'll grab some corn. And
Yes. Put the corn here, because I'm gonna fix the corn up and put the succotash right here. So here we are. Almost winding down. So we have our roasted corn. It's a little cooled down now. So what I like with this roasted corn is I literally take it off the cob. So you just there you go.
This is great for a person who I don't like to eat corn on the cob.
Oh right,
I like to cut it off.
Yes. I forgot. Yes, that is so true. Yes, corn on the cob.
It's something about the teeth and the cob that just
It's not doing it. It's not doing what you wanted to do. I understand. So we're gonna get some more here. And it's roasted.
It is roasted. I like that you put it on the open flame like that.
Yeah.
Never would have thought.
Straight on the open flame, get that same charred taste you like right in your home. So here we are. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toss it a little bit on the plate.
Okay.
So we're gonna, you know what we'll do is we'll just plate this. We'll put first succotash. Succotash, the medley of vegetables. This too. Nice serving. Nice grill marks. I like those charred marks on there. So we're gonna get a little bit of this. Let's turn this up. See how fancy you were? Such a flash. And then we're gonna give ourselves the same things. And if you want, you can make a roulade with the mayonnaise. I mean, I know people don't necessarily like mayonnaise-based sauce, but you can make that. So I like corn just like that, straight roasted. I love butter on it, but roasted straight like that. It's sweet. That's really good. Pulls all the flavors together. So, you know what? Let's cheers to 30-minute meals and having a good time today, right? All right. Salud. This is it.
It is. Really good.
Thank you guys so much for joining me with our 30-minute meals. I have here Kelsey Minor, and hope you guys tune in for the next episode. All right. So, nothing. Sorry. I'll put that right here. Here you go. Oh. And you don't like okra. See, I got you.
But it's good.
I get everybody with okra in this shop. Because when you grill the okra, it's not as slimy. You don't get the texture, but it's still crunchy. Salmon cake.
All of it.
So big, it's all one bite. Right here. I did that. Cheers. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you join me next time for another meal with Lexus and